On the show in Wheel Spin, we drive the new Verna from Hyundai. In Launchpad, we have a look at the new C-Class diesel as Mercedes formally launches the car in the Indian market. And in the best of luxury driving, we drive the Mercedes GL63 AMG to Ajmer and Pushkar. The year was mid-2011 and Hyundai literally rocked the world of mid-segment cars when they launched the Verna. Mind you, the Verna had been around since 2006, but the new one, which they called the fluidic sculpture design, was absolutely spectacular. And it came with not only fresh looks, but a bag full of goodies which would have made any kid very happy. It had everything that you wanted in a car, especially a mid-segment one. And the result too was as to be expected. The car went on to become the best-selling car, but then times change and with it things change. Now it's time to have a look at the new Verna. The second generation of the Verna, dubbed as the fluidic sculpture design, became an instant success with its flamboyant looks and a car full of gizmos which upped the benchmark for this segment of cars. Its nearest competitor, the Honda City, by then had already lost its sheen and was fading fast, so it was the Verna which became a dominant player. The Verna, since its launch, has sold over 2.3 million units globally and is sold in 66 countries across the globe. Consequently, Hyundai now wants to place this new Verna as the world sedan and calls it the new 4S Verna, where the 4 S's stand for style, sophistication, speed and safety. One look at this car and you know it's a new one. The front end has had a change, the grille is new, the bumpers are new, the projector headlamps for the top of the line 1.6 litre trim, and of course the rear too has changed, new tail light cluster and the bumper. So it's time for me to tell you what really hasn't changed. And what really hasn't changed is the dimensions of the car. It remains identical to the old one except for the fact that it has grown by 5 millimeters in terms of length. Otherwise, the platform is the same one and so are the engine options, the same 1.4 and the 1.6 diesel and the petrol. Well, if you were expecting a whole new car, then you might be a bit disappointed, because a totally new car this Verna certainly isn't. What it is a mixture of cosmetic and feature upgrades, which again isn't a bad thing for a vehicle which is going through a midlife crisis. These additions will help it to prolong its life as a strong competitor in a segment which has seen some keen action from its rivals. And we feel that these changes will help the Verna fight back and regain some of its sales, because the Verna's strength once again is the long list of features which it comes with. What can you really expect when Hyundai launches another new car or updates one? Of course, a new list of feature additions, and that's exactly what this Verna has got. Not that the old one was lacking too much, but now what it gets is additions like a rain sensor for the wipers, which is again a very practical thing, a cool glove box and a stereo system which has 1 GB internal memory. Plus, of course, the lighting on the instrumentation has changed, it's been reversed and looks much more pleasant. And then there are additions like additional thigh support for the rear seat, which is sure to make life more comfortable in the back seat. Plus, the door handles have been changed to brushed aluminum here, and there are traces of brushed aluminum here as well in the steering wheel. This is a replacement for the chrome that you had in the outgoing model. Overall, there's an extensive list of features that this new Verna carries, and this is something you are sure to like. In fact, it makes me feel like I've just entered a new toy store. Overall, the layout remains the same, so at first glance when you step in, it might look like the new one. But then when you start driving it and you use all the features, you realize that they have been very valuable additions. So chances are you're going to like this new Verna a bit more than the old one. Not only the addition of features will value add to the Verna as a whole, but the good part is that overall the feel and texture of the interiors seem to have improved too, with better materials, but the bad part is that the design and the layout remains the same as the old one. So you would be hard pressed to tell the difference initially, and I certainly had expected more design changes inside the cabin. But one thing that remains is the clever use of space inside, and this shows up nowhere better than in the many cubby holes and bottle holders it offers, both in the rear as well as for the front seat. And this, I am sure, will come in very handy for the regular users of the Verna. This new Verna 2 would be sold with identical 1.4 and a 1.6 litre petrol and a diesel, same as in the old one. There is no change under the bonnet here, and they spit out identical BHP as well. However, Hyundai says that they have worked on the noise and vibration levels of the car, so what you can expect is a much quieter and a refined ride. But the welcome addition is, which I like very much, is an area of safety. This top trim that I'm driving comes with 6 airbags, plus of course ABS and traction control. And the good news is that even the base model comes with ABS. It's standard across all trims, but I feel that in a car which is in the price bracket of this Verna, an airbag should also have been standard, along with of course the ABS. The main complaint against the Verna had been its poor handling, and this the company had tried to address even before and on this one too. Addition of dampers and a stiffer suspension coil setting now translates into a much stiffer ride, and the ride has now transformed from a very soft to a hard one. And this may improve the handling, but passengers in the back seat might complain on a bad road as the aberrations of the road does filter in. But again, this has helped the Verna corner better and become a lot more stable on a winding road, something the driver in you is sure to like. This new Verna here is a car which has been infused with a long feature list to make it a whole lot more value for money. And in terms of making it a little more attractive, there have been design elements which have been changed. New projector headlamps, diamond cut alloy wheels, which all add a nice touch. Whether you like the looks or not, I leave it to you. But for me, this works just as well. In fact, I find this better looking than the old one. And in terms of the feature list, it's exhaustive. In fact, there is no other car in this segment which can quite match up to it. So these additions are really welcome. But keep in mind one thing, all these additions are going to cost money. So expect the price of the new Verna to go up by around 8 to 10%. Mercedes-Benz India this week formally launched the diesel variant of the new C-Class. In December last year, Mercedes had launched the petrol variant, the C200, powered by a 2-litre petrol engine at a price of Rs 40.9 lakhs. The C-Class is a car which can be considered as an entry-level car for the luxury sedan category, as it comes with enough space and full list of features and competes with the like of the Audi A4, the BMW 3 Series and the Volvo S60 in the premium segment. Being the latest has its advantages, and the C-Class certainly proves that. In terms of design, style and of course the features, it easily tops the list. And we feel that the new C-Class is the best buy for this segment of cars. And if you do intend to buy, then you will have to shell out Rs 39 lakhs for the base diesel variant called the Style. While as the other top variant, the Avantgarde, will cost you Rs 42.9 lakh.
But before I tell you where I'm headed, I've got to show you what I'm driving. Because today, I have one heck of an awesome car at my disposal. You're going to be envious of me. Has your jaw dropped yet? Mine certainly has. This beast of a car is the new Mercedes GL63 AMG. And what that means is that it's not just an ordinary GL. The AMG badge means that it can spit out 550 brake horsepower from its 5.5-litre V8 bi-turbo unit. Well, if that's not exciting, I don't know what is. So it's time for me to get behind the wheel. In all my excitement, I seem to have forgotten to mention my destinations. Well, I'm off to Ajmer and Pushkar from Delhi, and I'm sure these two destinations are going to be beautiful. The drive is also really great. There's desert views on the way. So with this awesome car and 2 cities to visit. I am super excited. Let's unleash this beast.
Ajmer is a bustling city located roughly 400 kilometers from Delhi via NH8. The drive takes around 7 hours. Ajmer surrounds the tranquil lake of Anna Sagar and is itself ringed by the rugged Aravalli hills.
The GL63 may look huge, and it's certainly one of the most spacious cars I've driven in, with 3 rows of seats, but it's actually really easy to drive on the highway, and the engine is a powerhouse. It churns out 1 horsepower after the other with ease and refinement. It also has all the gizmos you could possibly imagine for a comfortable road trip. For example, it's pretty cold outside, but I'm very cozy in here with the heating on, and every passenger can control the temperature to suit their preferences. In fact, the sound system is also just superb, and so I'm about to pump up the volume and enjoy this drive.
The GL63 just devoured the kilometers, so we completed the drive to Ajmer in no time. As the scenery outside evolved from the mustard fields my journey had begun with to arid rocky hills, I could tell I had approached my destination.
It's nice and toasty in my car, but it sure is chilly in Ajmer. Fortunately though, I brought my scarf and jacket. I've just arrived in Ajmer, a very sacred town because it's home to the famous Ajmer Sharif or Dargah Sharif, which is exactly what I thought I should make my first stop. Now this shrine was built in honor of the Sufi saint Khwaja Muinuddin Hasan Chishti, the saint responsible for establishing the largest Sufi order in India. But it's frequented by pilgrims from across faith traditions because it's considered a very auspicious place to seek blessings. In fact, even the Mughal emperors Akbar and Jahangir were patrons of this Dargah, and it's an extremely historic and beautiful place and a must visit if you're in Ajmer. Now do bring a headscarf or a handkerchief if you come here, because you will have to cover your head in many parts of the shrine. Let's go explore.
The Dargah gained its significance during the time of the Mughals. Many emperors built additional structures here. When blessed with a son, Akbar built a massive cooking pot or deg here, where food for thousands of people could be made in one go. And Jahangir continued this tradition of feeding the community when he too had a son, building another huge deg. Thousands of people are fed here even today. It is believed that the spirit of Khwaja Muinuddin Hasan Chishti grants all wishes made at Ajmer Sharif. So visitors tie holy strings symbolizing their requests to the railings and jalis around the tomb. Visiting the Dargah was a lovely way to begin my trip, and I'm now ready to explore the rest of Ajmer's beautiful heritage. Time for my next stop, the extraordinary Nasiyan Temple.
Isn't that spectacular? I've never seen anything quite like this. This is another very special place in Ajmer. It's the Soniji Ki Nasiyan Temple. And this is a temple that's extremely special for the Digambar sect in Jainism. But I think it's really worth a visit for anyone because it's really very unique. I've never seen a diorama like this within a temple. This amazing gold diorama has scenes from Prayag and Ayodhya, as well as it depicts the Jain conception of the universe. And you could just spend hours just observing all the intricate details. There's little figures all gilded with gold, and there's amazing glasswork and paintings. It could literally take you all day if you were to observe every detail, and I'm sure children would love coming here.
The temple is dedicated to Lord Rishabhdev, the first of the 24 Tirthankars. It was built in the late 19th century. The main chamber is known as the Swarna Nagari or City of Gold and is truly a remarkable place well worth seeing.
After visiting Ajmer Sharif and the Nasiyan Temple, I thought I'd take a break and come by Sagar Lake just to take in the beautiful views of the water and the hills and just get some fresh air. And it's a very popular place among local people as well, just looking for a pause from the chaos of the city. You can come here and just take a walk along the lake or sit under a tree and take in some shade. It's a lovely, peaceful place to come to get away from the city. In these cool winter temperatures, the sun on your skin just feels so good. And I'm feeling so relaxed now, and I'm all set for my next destination, Pushkar.
Only 14 kilometers from Ajmer, Pushkar lies on the other side of the Nag Pahad or the Snake Mountain. You can take in the impressive landscape as you wind your way up the hills. Pushkar is world famous for its spectacular camel fair, which takes place here annually. But even when that's not on, this little town draws pilgrims and bohemian travelers from all over.
Most pilgrimage centers in India have a few things in common. They're typically on the banks of a lake or a river, and they're dotted with religious monuments. Now Pushkar of course conforms to both these things, and I'm right here at the ghats around Pushkar Lake, which is considered a very auspicious place to take a holy dip. And pilgrims come here from all over the world, particularly to see a very important Brahma Temple. Apparently it's the only one of its kind. And where I'm seated is actually Brahma Sarovar, but the temple is nearby, so that's where I'm headed to next.
Pushkar curls around a holy lake, said to have appeared when Brahma dropped a lotus flower. Apparently, Brahma wanted to perform a yagna at the lake, and when his wife Savitri didn't attend, he married another woman on a whim. Savitri, understandably annoyed, vowed that Brahma would not be worshipped anywhere else. So the Brahma Temple here is thought to be the only one of its kind.
I'm at the Brahma Temple, one of Pushkar's most important temples because it's supposedly the only temple in the world dedicated to Lord Brahma. It draws people from far and wide because of its uniqueness, and in fact architecturally it's quite simple, so it's really the deity Brahma that is bringing all these people in. Now unfortunately photography is prohibited within the temple, so I'm gonna go check it out, but I can't take the camera with me. See you in a bit.
Around the temple is a vibrant market area, and there are several small hotels and restaurants, making Pushkar a very tourist-friendly place. It attracts an eclectic array of people from across the world, many of whom seem to be soul-searching.
This has been such an enjoyable trip. I've gotten to see some of the most beautiful, mystical places in both Ajmer and Pushkar, and I've gotten to drive the Mercedes GL63 AMG, which has been quite an experience. This car is perfect for a long drive. It's comfortable, it's smooth, it has every feature you can imagine, and more than anything else, the sound of the engine can rival even your favorite playlist. So I consider myself a very lucky girl because I get to get back behind the wheel and drive off to Delhi. See you next week.